2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Mirrabooka or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Time to welcome into the studio. We're in the presence of a great here, Shaun.
Oh, Australian royalty.
Yes. He's been in just about everything. Welcome, David Wenham.
Oh, very good. Just about everything.
You have been in
No,
just
you
about
actually
everything.
have. Don't you reckon? I mean, I'd imagine people are coming at you with different shows that they recognise you from. Straight away, when we were promoting it yesterday, and I just went to Van Helsing.
Oh, my God.
Straight away. I know, but that's just one, that's one thing that I went to, let alone what everyone else is going to.
Well, I mean, there's a certain generation of Australian women who go straight to sea change, obviously. As Diva Dan, you were, a sex symbol, let's face it.
Which was ridiculous, considering that I didn't... honestly, when I was doing that, I didn't actually realise he was the leading man.
Yeah, right.
I thought I was just playing some goofy, fisherman on the side.
Yes.
And I went away and did a movie in Hawaii while the whole thing was aired, the first season.
Yes.
Didn't know what was happening in Australia, and then I came back, stepped off the plane, and suddenly
And you're
found
the
out
thinking woman's crumpet.
And I say, huh?
That's right.
What happened?
Well, so it is quite a step then for you to go from Diva Dan, where like half the country was in love with you, to the character John Francis Spiteri, Spit. The opening scene of this movie that you're here promoting is you in the tightest pair of skinny jeans I think have ever appeared on screen.
Yeah, they're painted on.
How long did it take you to get into those alone?
Well, there's a bit of a secret behind them. We shot Johnny Spiteri in London for one day a year before we shot this movie, and I was just workshopping the character.
Yes.
So I went on the hunt to find Johnny Spiteri's costume, and I found it in a charity store in London, and the jeans were in a women's section.
Yes.
And they looked really, really small, and I thought, oh, bugger that, I'm going to try to put them on.
Give it a crack.
And I did, I put them on, and I was amazed that they actually sort of, fit. I took them up to the lady to pay for them, and then she informed me that they were maternity jeans.
Oh!
Which is why they actually had that wonderful sort of elastic thing. So, yeah.
Amazing.
So, and that's what I wear in the movie.
Skinny in the leg and then ample in the...
That's right.
David, when I was seeing this and John Francis Spiteri, so it reminds me of my brother-in-law.
Everybody does know one of these
and you
people,
just mentioned that where you bought the jeans from, but he would go to op shops and stuff, and he would buy some funky stuff, from old school gear, and it just looks amazing on him.
Shirts.
And he's never changed. He always wears this kind of get-up, but he's just famous around all of our kids' friends and stuff like this. Here he comes again.
He actually looks cool, does he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Johnny is exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
He gets his clothes from there, but doesn't look cool.
He's a very unattractive man. I mean... You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, he is, and he's got a...
You're not going to capture any hearts with this character,
Well, who
right?
knows? Who knows? His mullet's still there, but he's a bit, he's got a bit of a bald patch now on the back of his head, and his cold sore gets a little bit better over time, but when he gets stressed, the cold sore does get much redder and slightly pussy.
Yes, and he's a bit of a scumbag at heart, really. I mean, I think...
not at heart.
Not at heart. Yeah, that's true.
He's got a good heart. He's got a good heart. He's
and some childhood trauma.
He's got a lot of childhood trauma, and he's had he's been to the school of hard knocks, but he still tries to do his best, and people love him.
David, when you're fleshing out this as a... It's not a sequel, is it? It's not a prequel.
It's a spin-off.
Spin-off, yes.
Yeah. I was... So your writer, the writer, is it Chris?
Chris, yeah.
Yeah. So he had a lot to do. Is he a criminal lawyer?
Yeah, very well-known criminal lawyer on the Gold Coast. So, the characters in Getting Square were very close to him.
Yep.
He'd seen somebody like Johnny Spiteri in the docks, and he couldn't quite
Probably
work
every
out.
day.
Yeah, but this particular guy, he couldn't quite work out when he was, up giving evidence, if he was the dumbest person he had ever seen, or the smartest person he'd ever seen.
It's a
And
fine line.
that was the seed for the creation of Johnny.
Yeah.
So 20 years ago, was kind of planted? Was an idea of coming back to?
No. There was never any idea of doing any sort of Spiteri-esque work again. It came about 10 years ago. Independently, I was just talking to a friend of mine and said, comedy for me is my strongest suit, I think.
Yep.
But I never get the opportunity to play with it very often.
Yes.
So we started talking about Spiteri, and I started to, think about all the different scenarios you can put him in. And he said, there's something in that. So I rang Chris Neist, and he said it's amazing because myself and Jonathan Toplitsky, the director, have actually been writing a movie for Spiteri.
Wow.
So that happened 10 years ago, and the first draft was unbelievably good, and it's taken us 10 years to make the
That's a long time for a project to reach fruition. Is that normal in the movie world? That it take from what
normally,
to go?
yeah. Normally, if you get a good run, it's about 6.
Yeah.
But this was 10, and the difficult thing is literally just raising the finance for it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so hard to get an.
Surely the
independent
David
film up.
Wenham name helps in that department.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it hindered it, and that's why we went for 10 years.
I don't know.
Hey, Dave, when I've seen you do so many different things all around the world, I always wondered, sometimes it's hard for Australians to break into other roles around the world in big budget movies.
Yeah.
But to me, from the outside, it never has seemed to be that way for you.
You pop up everywhere.
You pop in Lord of the Rings, obviously you're part of that trilogy, and there's so many more that I've mentioned, but has that...
It's a tricky one.
Being casted for you is not a...
Look, I think it's a combination of you've got a bit of modesty here, but you do have to have talent to start with.
Yes, of course.
But you do have to have a fair amount of luck as well at the same time. It's a tricky one. It's a really tricky one.
Did you ever do the whole thing where you go all in LA, move to LA, do the whole
I
audition thing over there, or do you always just work from Australia?
Australia's my home and always will be. And when I've got 2 kids now. One of them's 21, one's 16. As soon as they were born, I made a very conscious decision that they were not going to be brought up in Los Angeles through the American education system.
Yeah.
Because basically it's broken.
Yeah.
Unless you've got a lot of money and you send them to private school. But it's broken.
Yeah.
So therefore, I came back to Australia, and luckily I got work whereby... like a FIFO worker, really.
Yes.
I can do jobs in different places around the world.
Yes.
If I'm lucky enough to,
Because I know that you did do a job in my hometown of Esperance when you filmed Dirt Music down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Where you once again played a fisherman.
That's right. Typecast as a fisherman.
I can play a fisherman, don't you worry about that.
And the very next question is, and do you fish? And it's like, I'll pass on that question.
I'm Australia's worst fisherman. I am.
I think we'd battle it out, I reckon.
That shows what a great actor you are.
Yeah, that's right.
Dave, is there any other big roles that along the journey that you had the opportunity to do that you never took up for different things come up at different times?
There is one, but I won't talk about it now.
But Mrs. Doubtfire, can you guess?
That's right.
See, comedy genius.
That's right. No, unfortunately, Robin Williams got that one. But, there is one, and on my deathbed, I might let that one out.
Okay.
So
it's an interesting story.
Is it regret? Are you like, I was an idiot for passing that up, or was it just
I wasn't an idiot.
circumstances?
I was actually cast as that person in the role, but right at the very last minute, and the contracts were done and whatever, they said, and do you have such and such a passport? And I said, no. And they said, well, you need to do it the way the film was financed and whatever, the series is financed.
Yep.
And I said, I don't, and so I couldn't do it. And the really weird thing is, now I find out about my heritage, and we won't tell anybody this. I've actually just become joint citizen of Australia and Ireland.
Yes.
Right. And with that passport, basically...
You could have done it.
Yeah. And I didn't know at the time, because you can live and work in, the UK and all throughout Europe.
We're going to have a break now so that we can just find names of shows that David will tell us. But is it a really big one?
Yeah, it's massive.
I think I know.
Yeah, my career would have been very different. But
what do you mean it's massive?
I'm not regretting it at all. Well, it just would have been different. It just would have been different, that's all.
Now, we have to let you go because you're about to fly back into the eye of a cyclone.
Thanks for that.
So
know.
you're a Brisbane resident.
I spend time in Brisbane now.
and you're heading home.
Yeah, yeah. I've got family there who are, just wanting, me to return to, batten down the hatches.
Are they worried at the moment? We just spoke to our teammate Lutzy over in
I know
Brisbane.
Lutzy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a great guy, actually.
I lived in a place with his uncle for nearly 30 years in an apartment block, and we lived on the same floor. His Uncle Michael. Yeah. I met Lutzy quite a few years ago. He said, "You know my uncle?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, Michael, yeah." And I went, "Oh, my God, yeah." So that was the connection.
So we say Perth's a small town, but it turns out Brisbane's a small town
Brisbane.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you're only one person removed from anybody over there.
Yeah, same here too. Spit is in cinemas tomorrow. Check it out.
Oh, definitely.
Even just to see David Wenham in the tightest pair of maternity jeans you will ever see a man wear. Is an extraordinary character, and you really do bring a lot of life to him. Thanks so much for coming in, David.
Brilliant
David.
being with you.
Yes, and good luck heading back to Brisbane.
For sure.
We hope
Thank you.
it's a very safe journey.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
We are talking about those little things that the people in your life do that really annoy you, even though you know it's nothing major, but the niggling irritation. Like Sam, our digital content manager, his partner turns everything off at the wall. Everything. Chargers, toasters, kettles, lamps, everything.
Yeah, no, that's too much. All you want to do.
They've got to switch
heat
on
some
the
bread.
thing for a reason.
Norelle's in...
Gidgee.
Gidgee, get up.
Oh,
Hey,
morning,
Norelle.
Good morning, guys.
Love the bakery in Gidgee. Well done. What's the thing that really annoys you that somebody does in your life?
Yes, so it's my husband, and it's so super petty, but
Great.
every time he sits, you'll love it. Every time he sits down on the couch cover rides up just a little bit more, and so the corner of it, after a few times, is just almost off. And I'm sitting next to him on another couch, and it just drives me insane because it's just
Pull it down.
So frustrating. Yeah, he won't pull it down. No, he won't pull it down. So he sits down really heavily, and the cover rides up, and it really just irks me so much.
So the thing
I
is,
had to have words with him the other day.
yes, and how was it received?
Yeah,
He doesn't
eye rolls
care.
And no,
You know why he doesn't care, Narelle? Because when he's sitting on it, he can't see it. You're the one looking at it. He's not looking at it. And also, even if he was looking at it, I doubt he would care, would he, Sean?
He probably wouldn't care. But
know,
my
wouldn't
houses
care.
are ugly, and I want the cover to cover it.
Just to be clear, your irritation with him is that he sits on the couch too heavily.
Heavily.
Too heavily, and the couch cover rides
causing
up.
the riding up of the
Now,
couch
Jim and
cover.
these guys have been together for a while.
Yeah, how long have you been married, Narelle?
Yeah, 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? It just gets you. It builds up and builds up and builds up.
It's what keeps you together.
Pretty petty, right?
Just
Yeah.
shared resentment.
That's
Well
what we
done.
want.
Thanks, Narelle. Shanae, hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Okay,
Sinead.
Shanae, get it off your chest. Who are we complaining about first of all?
My partner, when he makes the bed, which I'm thankful for, by the way,
But?
he will make it with the buttons at the top, not at the bottom.
Of the doona, you mean?
Duna.
Yeah, and it really just drives me crazy. Like, I know it's not that big of an issue.
No, it is. They don't belong at the top.
No, I totally agree, Sinead. I wouldn't stand for that.
No.
Honestly, I think it drives me freaking crazy.
Do you think he's doing it so that you eventually say, don't worry, I'll make the bed myself?
Well, no, he will make the bed and then I'll go and change it. And he's like, it's fine, like, we'll fix it later. And I'm like, oh, okay, like that, but it doesn't go that way. And
No.
he's like, but why? It's still made, it's still neat. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't go that way. But you can't even tell. And I'm like, you're right, you can't tell. So it's easier to just leave it with the buttons up the top until I go to sleep and then I'll change
I mean,
it
you say
around.
easier, but you're full of resentment about it.
I don't see if you're going to make the bed and do it properly, and you do it every
Yeah.
time. Why would you even bother putting the buttons up there? Because you'd see it and you go, even
You
if
just
you can
quickly
tuck
turn it
down,
around.
just turn it around.
But how much you messing up the bed that every day you are rearranging it, Shanae, so that the buttons are at the bottom, and then when he remakes it, the buttons are magically back up the top again.
Well, I kick the blanket off and then he puts it on and then I
Yep.
kick it off. So
Yeah.
I'll just kick it around and then...
You guys are thrashing around.
Yeah, he just picks it up and throws it across the bed and I'm like, oh, cool. But, like, I pay attention to where the buttons
Yeah.
are. So
No, because there's a
really-
rightful place for the buttons.
There
you're
is a
right.
rightful place.
Oh.
No, we're on
And I
your
don't
side,
want to
Sinead.
near my face
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry for your suffering, Shanae. Thank you. All right, 13 24 10. Let's take more of these. Get it off your chest. Sarah's in Parkerville. Hello.
Hi, how you going?
Good,
Great,
Sarah.
Sarah, are you complaining about what your husband does as well?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. So first of all, how long have you been married?
Coming up 20 years.
Okay,
Okay.
right. That seems to be right in the zone for when these things really kick in.
Sure.
What does he do that is just so irritating?
So whatever he drinks, whether it's a glass, cup, stubby can, he leaves just a tiny mouthful in the bottom.
Okay, that is irritating. That
They
is
used to call
irritating.
that Terry Sullivan.
Yes, yeah.
Tiny little bit, so that, just enough so if you knock it, you
Yeah.
get a little bit of stickiness on your hand,
Yes.
and it's just a little thank you at the very end for cleaning up afterwards.
Yeah, it's like, why can't he just have that last bit? Come on.
Yeah, I've even tried to train him with the can. Just bend the can a little bit to get that last mouthful.
Yes.
No, 20 years.
Wow.
Well, you got to get that last mouthful of beer. Maybe it's because it gets warm at the bottom. Does it all drink?
I mean, drink it faster,
Yeah.
first of all,
Yeah.
but also get your money's worth.
Get
You're
your money's
leaving
worth,
money
yeah.
in the can. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, divorce him, Sarah. Thank you. Rachel's in Mount Rishon. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Great,
Rach.
Rach. Okay, are you complaining about your husband too?
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
6 years.
Oh, only 6. This is, you're still fresh. Okay, what does he do that is very annoying?
He takes my key hook, like where you hang your keys at the end of the day.
Yes.
He takes mine. Yeah, so I like the one right next to the door, and he takes that one, so I have to move over like 7 centimetres to use the other hook.
No, this is an outrage. But the thing about that is that then when you absentmindedly go to leave in the morning, you pick up the wrong keys, don't you?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And have you labelled it?
No, it
Shouldn't
should
have
just
to.
be
Yeah.
clear knowledge.
Yeah. So why does he do it? Have you confronted him?
Oh, he just doesn't think about it.
Yeah, no.
And I've mentioned it before, and he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, my bad." But yeah.
This is the sort of level of chaos that where you just one day you'll go to bed and he'll be lying on your side at this rate. Like, where will it stop? Can you imagine?
No, that's a hard limit. That's never happened.
That's divorceable.
That is so funny, the sides and stuff like that. And I know what you're talking about, Rach, with the keys. But the side of the bed, even when you go away and travel, it's like, no, that's my side.
Yeah.
Like,
Every now and then there's a TikTok where people go, oh, no, we switch up all the time. It's like, what? How do you even do that? Like, I sleep on the same side of the bed and I sleep alone.
I know.
But I'm not going to sleep on the other side. I can't. It's not possible. There's a big vacant space there, by the way. Anyway,
Yeah, just anyone want to
Stacey's in Piara Waters. Hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Hey,
Stacey.
Stace P. Wart. Hello. What is it about your partner that really? What do they do that annoys you?
So when I do the washing, underwear and socks have holes in. They need to be thrown out.
Hmm?
I refuse to wash them. He will purposely put them back in the washing on top, and then has a big meltdown if I put them in the bin. And they're at the point where you can't actually wear them.
Yeah, they
Guys
just.
have this thing that they're connected to undies and socks. They'll just get like I'm one of those guys, and I have been for a long time. Oh no, we'll get another wear out of them. No,
Not
anybody?
right, is it? I can't even. Stacey, I'm with you on this. It's gross. First of all,
And he doesn't understand, he's like, what's wrong with them?
yeah. Well, they've got
Like
holes in them. What
There's
more?
nothing in there. Like, you can't actually
There's
wear
nothing
them.
in there.
Yeah.
There's more hole than jock.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You feel the breeze.
And my 2 sons do the same.
Oh, you've bred more of them. This is no good. This is no good. I'm sorry. How long have you been together?
We just had our 18th
Yeah.
year anniversary.
God, that would have worn you down. 18
Yeah, I
years of it.
know. There's many more to come too,
Jeez.
Stace. Good luck. Good luck putting up with that. You shouldn't have to. This is an outrage.
We had so many callers who wanted
many.
to get on there and barely a male.
Women. All women. Did you
Yeah.
notice that? All women with husbands.
Well, it just shows you the men don't complain. They just don't complain. They just get on with life.
Or they're just
once
the
again.
perpetrators.
Just don't complain.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Mirrabooka or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
There hasn't been this much attention on southeast Queensland since Leavers. But
No.
this is an even bigger impact potentially as Cyclone Alfred bears down.
It's been unbelievable to see the coverage. Obviously, the AFL making their call just the other day about games going ahead. The NRL trying to move games to Sydney.
Yeah.
But we've been speaking to Lutzi, which we did yesterday, our teammate in Brisbane.
And the thing is, like, a lot of people are like, why is it such a big deal? It's not even that big a cyclone. It's because it's way further south than a cyclone would normally come. So it's essentially as though, imagine somewhere just south of Geraldton being hit by the full brunt of a cyclone. That's what we're talking about. And also except the massive population in that area. So the number of people that are going to be impacted, and also the fact that there are canals, rivers. It's a very wet area. And so the potential for flooding and storm surging is massive. So the impact of this thing could be huge.
Regardless of the winds itself, there's going to be a truckload of rain. And you're so right, Natalie, because of what's happened in the past in Brisbane in particular with the floods. Right. But if you're watching the project last night on Channel 10, you would have seen American rapper Ice Cube on there. Now, he's been over in the Gold Coast, staying for a bit of some time over here.
Yeah.
And he's going to be caught up in this situation.
So this is
he
what
can't
you
just
forget
leave.
about. It's a holiday destination. There are people visiting from all over, and Ice Cube's one of them.
Absolutely. So he's on the project. He's given us an update on how he's seeing things.
Yeah, I'm staying clear of it. It's pretty cool, I haven't been through a cyclone before, so, I can check this off my bucket list. For sure. I'm right here on the beach. The beach look like it's going to be in the lobby in a minute, but I'll go out there and, stand out there,
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to be caught up on holiday or in a hotel in this situation.
When you go on holidays, you do book the beachfront accommodation if you can afford it, because it's the fanciest and the nicest and you've got a beautiful outlook, unless there's a major weather event happening. Yeah. I mean, that would suck. I've never had anything like that happen when I've been overseas. Like, it's the worst thing that happened to me was being stuck in Prague because I couldn't, because of the floods in Dubai, stopped me being able to fly home. But if you're going to be stuck anywhere, Prague's a pretty good place to have an extra couple of nights.
Yeah, natural disasters, every time you turn on the news, there's something going on. The only thing that last year in September when I was over in Bali, there was an earthquake.
Yes.
And I was in bed and it started...
So you felt it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did you?
Yeah, I was in bed and I was just, it just started shaking. The bed started shaking and I was like... And it woke me up.
Yes.
And then I was like, what the hell's going on here? And then it just kept going. And then I thought, Jesus Christ, that's an earthquake. What am I supposed to do? Do I stand in the...
what do we do? The doorway, isn't it?
Do I go to the bathroom?
Get under a table.
Under the doorway. I was a little bit confused.
Do I have a shower? I don't know. I don't know what to do.
And then it stopped and I ended up going out into the hallway and there was a couple of other people out there. Does everyone feel it? Yeah, okay, we all felt it. It's all kind of gone. But, yeah, I wasn't quite sure how to react.
I know, because the thing is, because I had the same thoughts when I was in LA on my most recent trip. I had a few days in LA before going to Mexico, and LA, of course, is a earthquake hotspot.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, I'm in a hotel and I'm quite high up here. What? And I had to sort of think through what I would do. And then I thought, clearly these sorts of buildings would be built to withstand that sort of thing. But in Bali, if you walk past a construction site in Bali, they're not.
A couple of bamboo sticks holding everything together. And all the workers are there, we always say the Balinese work boots, they're all just in thongs. Having a dart hanging out their mouth, getting to work.
Health and safety, not a high priority on a building site. My brother's family, I think Sam, our digital content guy, were in Japan last year when there was an earthquake.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Around New Year's as well. So a lot of people that went up there skiing, there was a bit of shaky.
I'm not good on those things. We want to talk about if you've been caught in a natural disaster overseas. So you've been on your holiday, you holed up in the hotel for whatever reason.
Maybe there was some sort of blizzard, you couldn't get out and do anything. A blizzard, God, that just sounds so cozy, doesn't it?
Does sound good,
as long as
is there a negative to a blizzard?
Yeah, if you don't have supplies.
Oh, yeah.
and or the heating goes out.
Yeah, the run out of drinks would be the biggest thing.
Can you imagine if you got cold, Sean?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you don't like the cold. Hunter's in Quinns, hello.
Yes, hello.
Hey, Hunter, how you going?
Okay, talk to us. Where were you and what natural disaster did you get stuck in?
So I was actually in Houston in 2017.
Yeah.
And started to rain pretty heavy. And so I went outside and we were taking some photos with some friends. And then, it turned into that big flood, that big storm.
What did it mean for you whilst you were there?
Oh, so where I was staying was actually all right, but that night, I remember we went to like a local church and were part of a group that were receiving donations and stuff. And people were going out in boats and they were rescuing people and bringing them back to us, and we were feeding them. And then for about 2 weeks after that, we spent every single day going through and gutting out the houses that were all affected. And the streets were just lined with rubbish, everything that people owned. It was really sad.
They just put it on the verge and it waits to be collected. Hunter, were you there on holidays? This is what you ended up doing for your holiday?
Yeah. I was there visiting a friend and, spent about a month kind of,
volunteering in the end.
Yeah. Hunter, what a great person. Yeah. That time helping out people, providing food and shelter for them.
You're a good guy.
It was amazing just to see, people were just randomly driving through the streets, handing out food to all the workers. And because there were hundreds of people going throughout the streets just helping out anyone that needed it.
Yeah.
Those last big floods over in Queensland as well, to see, there's Mick Fanning and a couple of the surfing boys, Joel Parkinson getting on the jet skis and going to rescue people.
Yeah.
Imagine if you look out the window right now for us in Hay Street and you're seeing jet skis or a dinghy going down the middle of the street.
And it's Mick Fanning, because there was a woman who was a pharmacist and she needed to get to the pharmacy in order to be able to dispense medication to people that didn't have access to it. And Mick Fanning gave her a ride to work on his jet ski. And he just goes, this is just the most bizarre day, right? Oh, thanks, Hunter. You're a good guy.
Yeah.
Emma's in Belden. Hello.
Hello. How are you guys?
Hey, Emma.
Great, Em. So where were you, and then what was the natural disaster? What happened?
We were in Fiji for my 40th, and a cyclone came through. So we were one of those hotel rooms right on the water, so we got to watch the whole thing. But it was pretty scary. And we ended up having to stay at the hotel for a number of more days because we were going to an island after that. So they moved us to this other room, which was, oh my gosh, it was leaking. So like everything was wet. All our stuff was wet. We were sleeping on wet beds. It was horrendous. And then we finally got to go to a place called Muscat Cove, and we were the first boat to go out on the water.
Yes.
Since cyclones.
Yeah.
To Muscat Cove, and oh my God.
Debris?
It started off, hold on tight. It started off nice and calm, and then once we got into the open ocean, it was like we were going up sheets of water. Like it was just, my son was oblivious. He was sitting next to me reading a little book, and like there's just at the window, just like crashing, and it was just people vomiting everywhere. All of us Australians were kind of looking around to each other going, should we be worried?
What are we doing? Yeah.
We had all these American tourists calling home saying goodbye to their families. It was so bad. And we're all trying to keep cool because all the kids are starting to freak out. And we knew it was bad when the actual, Fijian workers on the boat were starting to kind of walk quite fast past us, moving all
and they were praying a lot.
Bursting it, and it was manic. And then when we got there, we were the last boat to arrive on the island for quite some days. So it wasn't a great trip in terms of that.
But memorable, Emma.
Once we got there, it was the most the island, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, amazing.
I know, but
I'm
not going
what a way to spend your 40th.
No, I couldn't do that.
Because, you do hear of every now and then a ferry sinking in these conditions. It's like you don't want to be on that one. Oh, my God. Thanks, Emma. Kylie's in Southern River. Hello.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Great, Kyles. What happened while you were on holidays?
Well, we went for our 50th, a girlfriend and I, across to France, Greece, Italy, etc.
Yeah. Amazing.
And we were, it was pretty awesome. A long time ago, let's say. We were visiting the Notre Dame, and I went, my girlfriend's a bit frightened of heights, so I left her down the bottom, and I went right up to the very, very top, taking all the pictures, etc. There's a few workmen about the place doing things, and then when you go down, I don't know whether you've been there, you go down this spiralling, really curly spiralling staircase.
Yeah.
I got to the bottom, and all these dudes were running at us with machine guns.
Yes.
And I was just like, shit, what the... Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
What the heck is going on? I thought maybe terrorists. And my girlfriend, my friend down the bottom, she said, let's go. And we raced across to get away. turned back because we saw all this sea of Parisians up the top, all bawling their eyes out, turned around and there's the Notre Dame burning down.
So
whoa, you'd been in it.
Kylie.
You're up the top and then coming down.
I've got to ask the question. Did you start the fire?
Well, I did go in and light a candle.
Everybody does that, to be fair.
Notre Dame.
But wow, how amazing that you were basically in it as it was burning down.
As it was smouldering, I was in there. And you know, that is a genuine question, Nat, because not too long after that, I was in the Barley supermarket, and that burnt down the next day. And then CYO's O'Connor's, I was nowhere near that, but I lived near it, and it burnt down. So
we're just there recently, so it's all refurbed and beautiful at the moment.
Have you ever seen the movie Firestarter, Kylie? Where the little girl starts fires with her eyes when she gets mad. Is that you, Kylie?
Scary. Well, I am fiery.
Rule of threes, I tell you what, that's amazing.
Dodged a couple there.
Yeah, I know. Don't mess with that.
Yeah.
And we're not going anywhere near you. And we're not inviting you to Nova, that's for sure.
No, we're not. Certainly not.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun in podcast form.
The best day of the weekend, or the long weekend, in terms of weather was Sunday.
Yes, it was.
It was warm, not too...
Nice warm day.
Yeah, the winds were good, so I headed over to Rottnest, which I've been doing as much as possible lately, getting a couple of freebies in. And
did the clockers high-five you as you turn up? Shaun, what's up?
The guy at the bakery has a smile because he knows he's going to get a couple of bucks come over the counter, Nat.
I just go to the East Frio Good Grocer because they're the same people.
Yeah, they are.
I bought Amy some hot cross buns.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Must have got my address, did you?
So you can get them yourself.
The only thing to do, not the only thing to do, when you go to Rottnest, it's rude not to go to the pub.
Oh, well, what else are you going to do? What do you, hang on. What else do people do on there?
No, actually, Nat, you wouldn't believe. There's over 20 bays at Rottnest, so you can go for swims and sit in bays and have a snorkel around the place. You can ride your bikes.
I'm sorry, you've lost me. What?
Yeah.
No, but even if you do that, you always end up at the pub. It's the rule because it's the last stop before you get on the ferry.
100%. That's exactly what we were doing. We went there as the last stop and we were in there having a couple of beers. There was a group of guys that when I went up to the bar, started having a chat with. They just did a skydive, which is what I did 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, of course. So you bonded over jumping to your death.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, which you are until you put your parachute. Yeah.
One of the things about when you go there and you go out the back to the Rottnest airport, which is just like a basic shed, is that generally they say you need to be there half an hour before you take off to do the flight. But the reality
they give
is
you a briefing and stuff, and you want. It's obviously very safety conscious.
Very.
But there is a bit of waiting around because there's weather conditions to consider and all sorts of things.
100%. So you generally wait about an hour. So this guy was telling us how he was waiting out the back, and one thing that he always wanted to have a chat to is he was there with his boss and work friends.
Doing the jump. Yeah, okay.
One thing that he wanted to tackle was getting a pay rise.
He thought that whilst waiting to go skydiving was the right time to ask for a pay rise.
Well, he'd been wondering when the right time was, and he'd been wanting to do this, Do you walk into your boss's office? Where do you do it?
Do you do it during work hours, or do you do it on a long weekend in Rottnest while you're about to jump out of a plane?
Yeah, so he was sitting there for a while, and he started the conversation, he was telling me, by buttering his boss up by talking about the fact that they'd had a newborn, him and his missus, and that the cost of everything, expensive, blah, blah, blah. And he kept talking, and he got his boss to, think back to when he had kids, and he just drew him in.
Yes, it became an emotional conversation because of that, yes.
Then he asked, he thought it was the right time to ask for a pay rise, given that they were about to jump out of a plane together, and if you don't
want the bad karma of refusing a pay rise just before you jump out of a plane.
100%.
That was his tactic going in.
His tactic.
Is that the boss would want good juju, and so therefore, having just given an employee who's got a new baby a pay rise, he would be saved, and his parachute would definitely open.
100%.
That was the theory.
And when you think of that,
did it work?
It worked.
He got the pay rise.
He got a pay rise. He lured his boss in with that one. But the fact that, what are you going to say under those circumstances? He didn't know if that was going to be the right time, by the way, but it came to him in that you're waiting for so long, you start thinking about all those negative things. What happens if this is it? This could be it.
Yes. But also, like, you're asking for a pay rise, and then if they say no, then you're just sitting next to them for standing there waiting, and then you're sitting in the plane while it goes up to the right height.
Yep.
That's just awkward if he said no. Like, it is a gamble, because if he said, oh, mate, we just don't have the money at the moment, then you're like, okay. And then you're stuck with them.
Yeah, but you know
You
that
can't
it's
walk out of the office and leave.
No, but you know it's going to be on your boss's mind just as much. If he's going up and you're doing circles around Righto, which is what happens, and you go higher and higher, and he's sitting there going, I'm about to jump out of this plane. I never granted Nat a pay rise. This could bite me in the ass real hard. You would be yelling out straight away, pay rise, before you jump out.
All right, you
I got you. I don't care if we got no money. It's happening.
So his salary's doubled now, that guy, has it?
I just thought that was absolutely ingenious.
It's a bit, I would say that's an uncommon situation. Most people ask for a pay rise during work hours, for starters.
Yeah, they do.
And usually in the office. But you never know.
You got to get them at the right time.
Yeah.
Because I would have thought in the last couple of years, if you're going for a pay rise, generally it's no. The company can't afford it.
Yeah, that's, cost of living, everything, business is down, blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all before.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And heard it recently.
We want to know about pay rises. What was the perfect time to ask for one? Have you tried a sort of slightly unconventional approach to asking for a pay rise? Tanya's in Dianella. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, Tan. Have you asked for a pay rise? What happened?
I haven't. I used ChatGPT to draw up a template for the conversation.
Okay, amazing. Talk us through it. How did it work?
So I put in ChatGPT my job description and all of the different project work I'd done throughout the year and why I felt I deserved a pay rise.
Yeah.
And then I asked it to address all of the different areas that I should talk about in the meeting asked for the pay rise. So it spoke about cost of living, and it spoke about recognising my work and all of the emotional connection to working and why, money, that like the value of doing the work is justified. And then I asked it to ask all the questions that, like, responses, or if they said no, or if they gave me a negative response.
Yes.
And so I covered all the ground for their justification to say no.
Yeah, you worked them into a corner.
Yeah.
Because you had the answer for everything.
Yeah, so you preemptively had the answer to all of the questions they could possibly think of to ask, because ChatGPT told you what they were going to be.
Yeah, and then ChatGPT phrased how to start the conversation and how to end the conversation. So it touched on, addressing their personal opinion and why, my personal opinion on it. It was great. So now I have this template that I can now use every year because ChatGPT's drawn it up for me.
Amazing. That's using
really
technology to your advantage.
And Tanya, clearly it was a success, right? Transformers.
Yes,
there we go. That was Bumblebee right then.
Got to her. Thanks, Tanya. Ashley's in Midland. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, Ash, we're talking about pay rises. What happened?
Yeah. So it's actually my husband that'll do this. So, he works for a small hospitality business. And so whenever we go on holiday, he knows that the owner will struggle a little bit to kind of manage things because he does quite a lot. He's a very efficient worker. So he'll wait to wear, on the back end of a 6-week holiday, and then he'll ask for it. So the boss has just struggled for 6 weeks, and now he's like, you've got to give me more money if you want me to come back.
That's the secret. It's so that they appreciate the value of you. That's the way to do it.
Much.
That is well played.
That is well played.
He's got value in his job. But on the other side, if you thought that was the right idea, your boss ends up doing your job while you're away and goes, this is easy. This guy's taking.
Don't worry about it. 3 or 4 times. So.
Wow. So basically,
he must be good, though.
Basically, he holds them to ransom when he's been on holidays and said, if you want me to come back, pay me more.
Yeah, he's very efficient.
Yeah, no, clearly he's very good at his job. All right, that's the secret. See, that's the secret, Sean. You have to be good at your job.
Oh, okay, that's where I'm going wrong.
It's screwed.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
We're discussing what can happen in the toilet on your transport. Inspired by Jesse Hogan, Coleman medalist.
Yes.
Gun full forward for the Giants. He is out of the opening round because he broke his thumb jamming it in the toilet door on the bus.
Now, we were talking about this morning just amongst each other, and every woman in our team said the same thing. Why are you using the toilet of the bus? That's disgusting.
It's gross.
But guys do that stuff.
You're gross.
I've heard that so many times now.
I rest my case, Your Honour. Derek's in Averley. Morning, Derek.
Morning, how are you?
Good, Derek. Okay, talk to us. What sort of toilet did you use and what happened?
Okay, so I am one of those guys. I have to use the toilet everywhere I go. So
yes.
It's like one of those. But one particular one was I was on a bus from Perthshire, Scotland, down to London overnight.
Oh, that's a long journey, yeah.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be a sleeper bus, but it got changed last minute, so it was only seats. But so I was like, didn't think there was a toilet on board for a little while. Then I discovered it was downstairs because somebody told me.
Yes.
And I went down in this tiny little cubicle, and I'm thinking, you have to be a little person to be comfortable in this thing. Literally, I was sort of squeezing myself in just to get the door closed, and I thought, do I sit? Do I stand? What am I going to do? I couldn't sit, so I stood anyway. And there was a little bit of a rough patch, a bit like the story you were telling earlier, and literally I wet myself all over the joint.
Might have got over a bump for taking the corner too fast.
Yeah, so literally missed the pan, got right into the crutch of my jeans. Wasn't very comfortable. Of course, tried to wash it as there, so it just looked like I just stood there and peed myself instead of going to the toilet.
I think we're getting a bit of a sense of why women don't like to go into these toilets because men have been in there doing this. Do you know what I mean? Like it's everywhere. Yeah. It's everywhere. Your aim's bad at the best of times, let alone on a moving vehicle.
No defence for me.
Yeah. True, all true. Thanks, Derek. Tam's in Halls Creek. Hello, Tam.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit of a just around the corner.
Are you in Halls Creek right now?
Right now, yeah.
Unreal.
Good morning, Halls Creek. Okay, talk to us. What sort of toilet were you in?
Oh, well, we were on the beautiful Lake Argyle and obviously consuming a few bevies just on the weekend and obviously survived. But there was a little boat, there was a little toilet on the boat, and it was pretty much obviously pretty disgusting, so it wasn't an option. So option 2 was to do a wee with the Crocs. And a few bevies in, and under a bit of negotiation, we decided we'd rather risk getting a little snap from them. And but the funny thing was, we were actually croc watching just a little while beforehand. But we decided to go. Apparently, we're in the waters deeper. They're not. Like, I don't know who came up with that theory, but we did. We all just decided, okay, then we'll jump in together, and if it's your time, it's your time. We all jumped in and did our weeds together in the water.
So, okay, that's quite gross when you think about it, Tam. So bad enough that you're contending with crocodiles, but the fact that you all jumped in together and then did your communal wee. You're all floating around in that water, right?
I know, but it was only number 1, and we gave each other a couple of metres.
Okay. There's an exclusion zone.
And had to wait till everyone was in head above. So we had a little bit of criteria laid out before it all happened.
Sean, haven't you swum in Lake Argyle?
Yeah, Tam, I swam in Lake Argyle, and it was on the Saturday when they do the Lake Argyle swim, obviously. They on the Wednesday leading into that Saturday, someone had been bitten by a crocodile for the first time in years. Yeah. And so we were thinking, oh my God, let alone jumping in there. Oh, I did jump in there on purpose because I had a job to do.
Out of choice,
Yeah.
Takes a brave soul. Thank you, Tam. Taylor's in Two Rocks. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Taylor.
Okay, Taylor, what's your take on this?
So I am a flight attendant.
Oh, you've seen some stuff.
I have so many horror stories, but one of my probably grossest ones was we had a passenger on board who was flying back from the mine who happened to have an upset stomach for some reason, and we hit turbulence kind of mildly. For us, it's mild. To passengers, they think it's severe, but we hit turbulence, and this gentleman kind of, came crawling out of the toilet, and so he came crawling out of the toilet. We sat there for a bit, and it started to smell a bit kind of gross.
Yes.
And so we went in, and I went in, and this poor gentleman had diarrhea. And it had gone all up the mirrors, up the walls, completely everywhere in the toilet.
So the timing, why doesn't he clean it up? Why doesn't he clean it up?
Or attempt to?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because they're FIFO workers and they don't
Yeah, they have everything done for them. You know what it's like, Sean.
I can still wipe my ass and a mirror.
I mean, I'm sure he wiped his ass, but it was just the mirror was somebody else's job. Taylor, the stuff you have to put up with as a flight attendant, we're so sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's hectic.
Yeah,
we are. Yeah, we are.
You see the worst of humanity.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Mirrabooka or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.